Hey there, YouTube world. Sloan Moose here. What you're looking at here is my Danby, D-A-N-B-Y, Kegerator that I bought back in 2007 when I lived in Charlestown, West Virginia. And in 2008 moved it to Point of Rocks, Maryland. And in 2013 moved it down here to Texas. Now in 2020, I'm planning on moving up to Alaska in the next year or two. And this thing's 13 years old. It still works, still cools like a champ. But I've decided that this is not going to make the move. Number one, because of my celiac and I can't drink beer anymore. Or at least I'm not supposed to. And number two, I don't know how well it would survive getting shipped in a 40-foot shipping container. So I'm going to make a few videos here about this thing and some of the things I've done to it. For those of you who are either home brewers and want to just use a kegerator like this rather than making a keezer, or just for anybody who has a kegerator and wants to maybe upgrade it a little bit, if you will. Now, when I bought this kegerator, it came with a single tap tower. Now, as you can see here, I have a 3-tap tower on this little baby doll. I also had a 2-tap tower. Now, there's two different ways that you can go about getting beer into this thing. You can buy commercial kegs, either the 5-gallon kegs that are called a sixtel, or a half a keg, which is a 15-gallon keg, or I think they make a pony, which is somewhere in between the two. I've never bought kegs, so I really don't know. The other option is, home brewers, we use what are called Corny Kegs. These are kegs that either Pepsi or Coke used to use for transporting their syrup. Then after they'd been used so many times, they'd sell them off to the home brewing industry. And these are 5-gallon kegs as well. Two different kinds. One's called a pin lock and one's called a ball lock. And all the Corny kegs I've had are all ball locks. Plus I bought some commercial sixtel 5-gallon kegs. And I'll show you how you can convert these, your setup, from the Corny keg over to a commercial keg. Now, I want to kind of just walk through the process here a little bit of how I made these modifications. I can actually put 3 5-gallon Corny kegs in this thing, so you could have 3 different types of beer on tap here. If you look down closely here at the base of the tower, you see the screws. There's 4 screws around here, and basically you unscrew the old tower, take the new 3-tap tower, drop it in there, line up the rubber gasket, screw it back down. Now your tower is now mounted. Now inside the kegerator, and I'll give you some close-ups of these here in just a minute, you see I've got the 3 clear lines coming down. Those are lines for the 3 different taps, and then the 3 red lines. Now when you get a kegerator like this, it has one gas connection. There's a CO2 container that mounts on the back. And if you look up in here real close, you can see where the red line comes across over. Now what I did is I got online and ordered me a header that I could run 3 separate gas lines to. And you see there's a cutoff valve I put on each one of them. So when I've got up to 3 kegs in here, or if I only have one, like I had the last time I used this, I turned the valve to the middle line on, and I had gas to that and going to the keg. So it works really well. I'll try and get some shots here. I don't know if I have what I have as far as Corny kegs left here at the house, because a lot of my stuff I did go ahead and get rid of. But if I can find 3, I'll take some pictures and show you what it looks like with 1, 2, and 3. I believe it's 2 of the commercial kegs I can get in here. Again, I'll show you that shortly. What I have done is basically I have labeled each one of these lines so that I know what's what when I get inside here. And if you see, this one is right. This goes to the right tap up here on the tower. I've got one for center, one for left. You don't really need to label the gas lines. If you look very closely, these are ball lock connectors. These connect to the Corny kegs. And I have the threaded connection here, and I'll show you one of these in a moment, so you can see exactly what, but the reason I went through and I put these threaded connectors on is because it makes it easier to convert these to commercial keg, a Sankey D coupler. I'll show you one of those here in a few minutes as well. So it makes, I can switch them out. So depending on what kind of kegs I have, or you may have or have access to, if you have access to both kinds, then you're really way ahead of the game. I wanted you to see what the inside of the kegerator looked like with one Corny keg and one commercial keg, or my 5-gallon 6-still keg, sitting in here side by side. And you can use a full-size Corny keg or the little half pints like I've got here. Or we can take this out. Or you can have two of the 5-gallon 6-still commercial kegs in here at one time to give you two different kinds of beer on tap. Or you can actually have three of the Corny kegs, which is what I used to do, which is why this has a 3-tap tower on it, so that I could have three different kinds of beer on tap at one time. And even for a while, with Cameron was younger, I made some homemade soda and would have three different kinds of soda on tap. So you can do all kinds of things with it. But I just wanted you to see what it looks like in here with these types of kegs. Alright folks, I promised you I would show you these connectors and how you change from ball lock to Sankey, the way that I set these up. So here we have a gray connection. This is your gas line. And you see how you've got the threaded end on it. And then for your connection that you make to your tubing, again, they're threaded, so they just connect together. I've got the same thing here, the black, which is your liquid line. Now here is a brand new, right out of the bag, Sankey connector. And the way this thing works is with the handle in the up position. If you see here, you've got the ridged inside. You put, and the way the outside is grooved on your commercial keg, you put this down inside, push down and twist. When it stops twisting, drop your lock, and then this is ready to go. Now the way that it goes together, and the way that it came right out of the box, there's lots of little pieces and parts. This is the liquid line that comes right out of the box, and I used a little sealer in here. Liquid goes on top, on the top connection. So you basically get it lined up, and sometimes that's easier said than done. There we go. And the reason this is at a 90-degree angle is because of how tall this sits on top of the keg. Now, this is all wonderful and great if you're going to just have this connection by itself, you're doing a single tap tower, or if you're going to only use Sankey, then you can take your beer line coming from your tap, go straight over here, put your clamp on it, and then anytime you change kegs, all you have to do is twist this off, put it so you can then take your Sankey connector off and switch it out to your new keg, put it in. The gas line comes out of the side of the Sankey connector. Now when you assemble your gas line, this little device right here is extremely important. It's a little check valve that allows the gas to go in but not to come back. So you put this in, then you take your connector, and remember, this is how it comes initially with the barbed fitting. so that you could put your gas line on here and make a permanent connection. But we want to do things a little bit differently. So what I did was I ordered some screw connectors. Just like this, see? So instead of using this barbed connector, I take my threaded connector, set it over here, and put this on. And then I do the same with my beer line connector. And so far I haven't found anyone who makes one of these at a right angle. If I did, I would certainly grab it up.
Well, howdy there, YouTube friends. This is the Lone Moose. Doing a real short insert here because I have to contradict something I just said in the previous statement. I said before that I had never been able to find a 90-degree connector to use with the beer out portion of the Sankey D connector. Well, the last time I had looked online was over 2 years ago. I haven't used that Kegerator in a long time because, well, I can't drink beer. So, but just on a lark last night, I got to looking online and I did find one. It's a keg coupler low profile elbow bend. It's on Amazon. I've actually ordered some, and I will leave a link down below so that you can take a look at this yourself if you want to use the Sankey connectors. But I'll also be doing a product review on this as soon as I get it. I think estimated delivery time was about 2 weeks. So once this comes in, and basically it is a solid body, cast body of metal, screws onto the top of the Sankey connector, and then inherent in this is a 90-degree bend, and then your regular Sankey coupler will attach to the 90-degree bend portion of this. So it looks very promising. Like I said, I do have to correct what I said, and I will be doing a follow-up video on this just as soon as I can when I get this thing in. The link will be down below. If you guys like these videos, please hit the like and subscribe. This is what keeps me going. Hey, I'm up to a whopping 23 subscribers. Woohoo! Somebody else joined the team. But no, I'm not doing this for eventually making money. I do it because, it's fun. I enjoy the mental challenge of it, and I enjoy sharing, what little I know about things in this world with the rest of you guys. So please, like I said, hit the like and subscribe, hit the notify button, and now let's return back to the main video.
Alright, then what you do, you take your ball lock liquid line connector off, thread your liquid line on top, and these things are torqued down quite a bit so they don't spin inside the tubing, so you actually have to turn the tubing around. So you really would want to do this inside the Kegerator before you make this connection. That'd be a whole lot easier. And then you do the same with your gas line. Take it off. Put this on. Then with your connector, your handle in the up position, put this over your keg, turn until it locks, put it down, boom. Now you have gas coming in and beer coming out of your Sankey D keg. Now if you don't have the height adjustment to do this inside your Kegerator, then you will have to go with the 90-degree barbed fitting, and you will have to make that, cut this piece off, put your barbed fitting in, reclamp it, and that fitting will only be for Sankey. So, like I've got 3 beer lines, 3 taps on my tower. If I wanted to, I could make one of them a permanent Sankey and keep 2 ball locks, or make 2 of them permanent Sankey and keep 1 ball lock. So, however you want to do it, whatever works best for your situation. But that's how you can switch between ball lock, and Sankey.